Archaeopteryx. This creature occupies one of the most significant positions in the entire history of life on Earth, sitting almost precisely at the boundary between dinosaurs and birds. It lived around 150 million years ago, during the late Jurassic period in what is now southern Germany, and when the first complete fossil was discovered in 1861, just 2 years after Darwin published his theory of evolution, it caused an immediate sensation in the scientific world. Archaeopteryx had feathers and wings like a bird, but it also had a full set of teeth, a long bony tail, and clawed fingers on its wings like a small theropod dinosaur. It was probably not a strong flyer in the modern sense, but it could glide and likely climb trees. For over a century it was considered the first true bird, though more recent discoveries have complicated that designation considerably. Argentavis. This bird holds the record for the largest flying bird ever discovered, and the numbers associated with it are genuinely difficult to place in any familiar context. It lived in South America approximately 6 million years ago, and had a wingspan estimated at around 7 meters, roughly the same as a small aircraft. It weighed an estimated 70 kilograms, which pushes against the very physical limits of what a flying animal can achieve, given the constraints of wing loading and muscle power. Argentavis was related to modern condors, and almost certainly relied on thermal updrafts and soaring flight, rather than active flapping to stay aloft. Its size suggests it was a scavenger, feeding on the large carcasses of the giant mammals that roamed South America during the same period. Terror bird. This is the informal name given to a family of large flightless predatory birds known scientifically as Forus racids, which dominated parts of South America as apex predators for tens of millions of years. They ranged in height from around 1 meter to nearly 3 meters depending on the species, and they were genuinely fearsome hunters. Their enormous hooked beaks were capable of delivering powerful downward strikes to stun or kill prey, and their long, powerful legs made them fast runners, capable of chasing down mammals across open ground. When the land bridge connecting North and South America formed around 3 million years ago, some species migrated northward. They eventually disappeared, likely outcompeted by the large mammalian predators that moved south through the same land bridge connection. Vorombe Titan. This was the largest bird that ever lived by body mass, belonging to a group known as elephant birds that lived on the island of Madagascar. Vorombe Titan could weigh over 700 kilograms and stand nearly 3 meters tall, making it heavier than any other bird species in the fossil record. Despite its enormous size, it was completely flightless, a characteristic shared by all elephant birds, and it fed on the fruit, seeds, and vegetation of the Madagascan forest. Elephant birds survived until surprisingly recently. Current evidence suggests they may have still been alive as recently as 1,000 years ago, meaning they coexisted with early human settlers on Madagascar. Their extinction is closely tied to human arrival through a combination of hunting, egg collection, and habitat destruction. Gastornis. This was a massive flightless bird that walked the forests of Europe and North America, roughly 55 to 45 million years ago, in the period shortly after the dinosaurs had gone extinct. It stood nearly 2 meters tall and had an enormous hooked beak so large and powerful that early researchers assumed it was a fearsome predator that hunted the small mammals sharing its environment. That interpretation held for decades, but more recent analysis of its beak structure and bone chemistry has shifted scientific opinion considerably. The current leading view is that Gastornis was actually an herbivore, using its powerful beak to crack open hard nuts, seeds, and tough vegetation, rather than to kill prey. Whatever it ate, its sheer size made it one of the most imposing animals in its ecosystem, during a time when mammals were still small and relatively unimpressive.